Well, good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your metal market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of Thursday, the 18th of April, 2024. And the time just after 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Down a little bit in the metals tonight. Okay, but it seems to go that way. You're down early in the morning, and it seems to rally back in the afternoon. My problem with the metals is I see a lot of divergence. Let me just explain before we look at a chart. I keep seeing that we have higher lows, but in many cases, lower highs. So you've gone into one of these where you're coming into a triangle formation. The second part is momentum, which had been embedded bullish, was lost a couple of days back. And that normally happens when price is going to follow momentum. So if you've lost the bullish momentum, then the price should follow. Does it always happen that way? Of course not. Does it happen often that way? Well, generally, yeah. So I'm watching that and I'm curious about it. The dollar got a good bid today, and we're starting to see the euro weaken a little bit. A number of the currencies are weakening, in fact. We'll see if they can hold on and do anything. You know that I have a special report on the euro currency. It's on the website, iraepstein.com. I'll talk about it at the end of this. It goes off the website on Friday. I'm not going to tell you what time Friday, but I know it goes off. So if you haven't seen it, I think you're going to want to. It's one of the better ones I think I've done. I think it's as good as when I was bullish in the stock market, if you remember October, November, and putting out those calls on the market, and that they luckily worked out. That's the right word. I do some that don't work out, believe me. I'm probably one of the few guys that talks about that. I always watch people on CNBC and all these, and I'm amazed they're never wrong. When you look at the marketplace and you see what's going on here, I look at them, and on the energy, I had one of my clients, Jim, I won't give a last name, James, and he reminded me that April 22nd, I think it is Passover. Will Israel want to attack Iran over the weekend when Passover falls right there? Generally, the state of Israel doesn't try to start a war on one of the holidays like that. Now, this isn't one of the holiest of holy holidays, but it's an important one. It's certainly followed by families everywhere in the Jewish religion, and it is something to take into account. And I think maybe that can offer a little bit of leeway where nothing happens, and maybe we don't see this weekend a war premium come in at the last minute into the energies. I'm just bringing it up because of that. In the gold market, any way you want to cut it, this market's been on a tear. It's up here pushing, as you can see on a closing basis, 23.78. Not the highest high, but a closing basis high, yes. You can see I said that we're in a distribution pattern, and let's just look at it before any indicators are on there. And that's what you've done. When you look at the swing line, you certainly have the pattern of higher lows. I've got them marked with the arrows, but it's hard to deny you got the lower highs, okay? So which way does it want to bust out of here? That's the big question. Certainly if you clear these highs right here that I'm pointing at, the market takes off potentially to the upside. That doesn't change the momentum. If the market breaks down, could it break enough to get to the 18-day average? Well, that's a big break. You're talking $60 to $70 an ounce. It would take some event to make that happen. And when I take a look at the Bollinger Band, well, you were running it. You began running it at the beginning of April, and you just ran forever with this. If you think about it, actually began in March. And finally, you went into a stall period, but it's a stall with a bullish bias. You're over the 18-day average, and things still look good here. Here's the negative that I'm telling you. Momentum turned down, and momentum is still overbought. As long as either leg of the slow stochastic stay in overbought territory that I define as a reading over 70, where both numbers aren't going sideways over 80 like that over here, that is an overbought territory. So I've got yin-yang happening as I see it. When you look at the gold silver, You had gotten as low as under 83 ounces needed to get an ounce of gold. You've pulled back recently. You're around 84.65. So it's a bit of a correction happening, which means silver is losing a bit to gold. You also have here that picture of higher lows and lower highs. It's even more evident on the silver market, and momentum here also turning down. And while one number's under 70, the K line, which is the red, that's how they're called. The D line, and I have no idea why they call them these things, is at 73. When they're both under 70, you're no longer overbought. To get there, momentum is saying you're going to drop back a little. Again, that divergence. Copper doesn't have that divergence. Copper is just staying well bid all the way through, fully embedded, reading higher lows, higher highs, bullish. Platinum has nothing. It's got a higher high and lower and low. Remember I said it's being pulled along. It's not a leader in this, and it's not. And the dollar is re-embedded. And now can it just keep pushing higher? And is this the beginning of where it just starts grinding itself higher? Or is it another failure? I happen to think it's going to keep grinding higher, so we'll see if the market can do anything with it. As I told you, we have a special report. I created one on the euro. Now, in the report, I really cover a lot of the data that I think is important to you. I look at both the, if you will, the seasonal charts. I look at the price counts. I give you the fundamentals with the market. I open up the charts, I talk over them, and I give you what I'm seeing and why. You put this together, you try to see the impact of the world events that are taking place. And, there's a lot of talk that maybe the euro is going to go to parity with the dollar. Well, we'll take a look at that and see if that's a possibility. In order to see the report, all you need to do is go to our website, iraepstein.com, under the word research, or move your cursor to the top up here. You'll see an icon and give it a click. I'm Ira. Have a good evening.